Hi everyone, I'm Wafalanga and welcome you all in Grammar in Detail. If you are new and not subscribed the channel, so please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to get some more videos about grammar. Today we will be discussing the ditransitive verb grant from active voice into passive voice. Before starting that, we need to know the definition of ditransitive verbs. Di means to, transitive which can be changed into passive voice, and verb which shows an action. So those verbs which need two objects and can be changed in passive voice into four ways are called the di or detransitive verbs. Ditransitive verbs need two objects, one direct object and one indirect object. Direct object means all non-livings and indirect object means all livings. So whatever the non-livings we have are known as direct object, and whatever the livings we have are known as indirect object. Keep in your mind, the ditransitive verbs need two objects, one direct and one indirect. If you put one of them, the meaning won't be clear. Sometimes the meaning will be wrong. Suppose today's verb we will take grant and we will make a sentence. If I say you, he grants you. Now a question arises, what does he grant you? And if I say he grants a leave, now again a question arises, whom does he grant a leave? If I say this sentence like this, he grants you a leave. Now this is confirmed that he grants a leave to whom? To you. And he grants you what? A leave. So that is what it is giving clear and complete meaning. Now if you want to bring the indirect object at the end and direct object at the beginning, we usually bring the indirect object at the beginning. But when you want to shuffle the places, keep in your mind your indirect object you will be followed by a preposition. Like I say, he grants a leave to me. So this is the way to change them into active voice in two ways. Our main target, how we are going to change it from active voice into passive voice, that we will be discussing. And let's discuss. We have already discussed the modal auxiliary verbs, and today we have got the modal auxiliary verb may. May is used for possibility, but that is quite less powerful than the previous ones which we have been discussing. The first one we discussed, that was must. After that we discussed that was ought to, and then we discussed should, and then we discussed can. After that we discussed could. So this is what the previous ones we have discussed. Must was used for 100% authority and possibility of an action. Ought to was less stressable than must and more stressable than should for 85%. After that we had should for 75%, can for 50%, could for 40%, and today we have got modal auxiliary verb may, that is used for 30%. When you got 30% of an action possibility, we will be using may. And in the same way we are going to change it into active voice. First, see, Ahmad may grant me a leave means this action may happen 30% by Ahmad, that he will grant me a leave. So this is what Ahmad may grant me a leave, that is 30% chances for having the grant for leave, but there is no possibility 70%. In the same way we bring indirect object at the beginning, but when you want to bring the direct object at the beginning, it will be followed by a preposition. Like Ahmad may grant a leave to me. But main target, how we are going to change it from active voice into passive voice, that we will discuss. Keep in your mind, Ahmad, the doer of an action, subject. When you bring in the place of object, there by Ahmad, it will change into by Ahmad. So by Ahmad, here many students think that is object, but keep in your mind it is not object. When you bring subject in the place of object, it changes into agent. And what is the definition of agent? It tells us who does an action. Now so in this entire sentence in passive voice, I may be granted by Ahmad a leave. That in all these sentences, by Ahmad is the doer of an action in this sentence, so you will say that it is called your agent. And when you bring indirect object me in the place of subject, you may get I, and Ahmad you bring in the place a leave, you bring at the beginning the direct object. So keep in your mind here, a leave and I will not be the subject doer of an action. It will be subject, but it will be called the title and topic subject. What is title and topic subject? A person, place or a thing in a sentence which we are talking about. Now about a person we are talking about, that is I, and here we are talking about a leave. So this is what doer of an action. the title subject, not the doer of an action. So if you bring the indirect in the place of subject, so by Ahmad comes at the beginning, a leaf at the end, a leaf at the beginning, Ahmad at the end. In the same way, if you bring a leaf at the beginning, so in the place of subject, so by Ahmad comes first, after that to me, and to me at the beginning, by Ahmad at the end. So sentences will be as followed: I may be granted by Ahmad a leave, I may not be granted a leave by Ahmad. A leave may not be granted by Ahmad to me, a leave may not be granted to me by Ahmad. Next we have got negative sentences. Those sentences in which we deny the statement, reject the statement and refuse the statement are called negative sentences. Ahmad may not grant me a leave, Ahmad may not grant a leave to me. I may not be granted by Ahmad a leave. I may not be granted a leave by Ahmad. A leave may not be granted by Ahmad to me. A leave may not be granted to me by Ahmad. Next we have got interrogative sentences. Those sentences in which we ask questions and put queries are called interrogative sentences. May Ahmad grant me a leave? May Ahmad grant a leave to me? May I be granted by Ahmad a leave? May I be granted a leave by Ahmad? May a leave be granted by Ahmad to me, and may a leave be granted to me by Ahmad. Next we have got formal sentences. Their complete name is interrogative, negative, formal sentences. What are formal sentences? Those sentences in which we ask question, deny the statement and we ask them in a formal and polite way are called formal sentences. May Ahmad not grant me a leave? May Ahmad not grant a leave to me? May I not be granted by Ahmad a leave? May I not be granted a leave by Ahmad? May a leave not be granted by Ahmad to me? May a leave not be granted to me by Ahmad. Last we have got informal sentences. Those sentences in which we ask question, deny the statement, we ask them in a formal and in an informal way. We use it in a friendly atmosphere and we use it with the one whom you are free with, and you will be using it with juniors and youngers. And may not short form is meant. Meant Ahmad grant me a leave. Meant Ahmad grant a leave to me. Meant I be granted by Ahmad a leave. Meant I be granted a leave by Ahmad. Meant a leave be granted by Ahmad to me. Meant a leave be granted to me by Ahmad. So these are the sentences of ditransitive verb grant from active voice into passive voice with modal auxiliary verb may. Hope you got today's lecture. Wish you best of luck. See you next time with next lecture. Goodbye.